in 2011. It's Australia and New Zealand. The #1 ranking is on the line, and it's Laura Langman, the acting captain for the Silver Ferns, that gets us underway. Over to Henry, Leota to Tyer, long way from the post. A bit of a frantic start here for the Silver Ferns. They're looking for Van Dijk, well held here by Geitz. Forced to go backwards. A little bit of early contact early.
We're going to see plenty of that through this game. Laura Geitz has learned from the matchup that she had with Irene Van Dijk in the test match in Perth. Van Dijk is playing a real moving sort of game in this series, and I think that caught both Susan Furman and Laura Geitz off guard initially when they first played against them. Just watching their Geitz was up on her toes and out in front, was really watching for that movement.
The starts, Liz, have been a concern for the Diamonds, and no doubt Lisa Alexander, the new coach, would have spoken about that in the pre-match. Once again, the Silver Ferns on the board first.
Yeah, I thought the Diamonds had to fight back a little bit from a slow-ish start on Wednesday night, nowhere near the poor start that they had on Sunday in Perth. But, you know, that is a concern. You look at your warm-up and you look at your mental state beforehand. Sometimes it just happens. You can't do anything about it.
Well done by Leota. Toe right on the line there.
Beautiful hands in from Leota. She delivered the ball before she landed. That's a skill.
So we've seen in the last 2 test matches played earlier this week, Silver Ferns with the first 3 in Perth, led by as much as 11, and they got up by 5 in that third quarter. Bit of a misunderstanding. Can Cox keep it in play? She does. Medhurst double team, forced to go backwards, but the turnover, Bell couldn't control the ball.
Well, beautiful, desperate play then from Kath Cox. A desperate defence leads to a 3-second call, held ball against the Silver Ferns. Good to see the Diamonds attacking line get straight into defence. That transition play is so important.
Another miscommunication there and a schoolgirl error off the hands of Medhurst. Here's Cox showing her athleticism for a 35-year-old.
She's listed in the program as 31. I think she quite appreciate that.
She fibbed her way into that one, I think. Henry bounce pass, well timed. Langman, Leota into Van Dijk. That's almost unstoppable, the attack there. And a rare miss from the master underneath the post.
Oh, that's over a third. You go a long way to see that. I was about to say, of the 2 teams, the Silver Ferns look more settled. Their attacking line looks just that little bit sharper than the Diamonds. Just a finish there from Van Dijk. Go a long way to see that. The Diamonds are really being forced at the moment into some really desperate sort of defence. They'll play a one-on-one game. They'll try and really wear the Silver Ferns down. They reap the benefit of that on Wednesday night in Adelaide. They'll look to do the same again today.
Sherelle McMahon's courtside. Sherelle, how have you seen this start?
Yeah, I agree with you, Lizzie. I think that the Silver Ferns seem to have settled first into this game. Initially, it's a really defensive game. It's really tough and tight out there, but the New Zealanders at the moment just settling nicely.
Chance to take a 2-goal lead. Tyer won't miss from there. I wonder in Irene Van Dijk's 202 international games, how many she's started 1 from 2 lists. That is rare.
Not very many at all. She's so impressive.
For the first time in a decade, she's got real competition. Geitz, hand to it, controlled by Van Dijk. Real competition for that starting goal-shooting bib. Latu played the entire game in Adelaide.
For the first time in a decade, the Silver Ferns have options in that goal-shooting bib. Irene Van Dijk has owned it, but with Catherine Latu in there, I still don't think she's up to a full game at this level yet. I think her fitness is something that will let her down towards the end, but what a nice luxury for Waitamanu to have to be able to just introduce her into a game as a real impact player when she needs to.
Speaking of impact players, Kath Cox, 2 from 2. She's a confidence player. Shocker in Perth 7 days ago. Best on court Wednesday night. What will she produce for Australia today? Van Dijk, Leota all struggled to keep that in play, but did it beautifully with perfect balance and poise. And Van Dijk can finish it off here for the Kiwis. She was missed twice.
Beautiful take then from Leota, and she held it up well and made the right choice in the pass too. She could see Corletto coming around to Tyer. Really nice start from Leota. She's got great speed and even better skills.
Contact, wing attack. You advantage, you move, wing attack, shoot. Advantage incorrect setting.
Nice pass, almost too hot there for Cox, and from long range.
Kath Cox has started beautifully for the Diamonds, but Nat Medhurst yet to get on the board. That's a concern, I think. When she doesn't fire, the Diamonds really struggle. She has to get in there. And I've just been a bit concerned about her over the course of this series. She's faded in and out of the games, either started beautifully and then faded a little bit in the second or third quarter. I don't quite know why that is. She's capable of running out a game. We just haven't seen her do that yet.
A couple of fumbles, first from Toutayer and then from Bell. Both passes just a little bit too much on them. Some anxious moments from teammates. And Lisa Alexander is leading Australia for the first time in front of her home crowd today. She joins us now. Lisa, what have you made of this start for Australia?
Again, a little bit sloppy, no doubt about that. So we need to just work into the game.
Lisa, what do you put these sort of slow starts down to? Is it something in your warm-up or is it something, I guess, in your mental preparation?
No, I think it's just a matter of us making sure that we get out there and we're intense from that first whistle. So we need to make sure, even in attack, that we're driving hard, just like Nat did then.
Given the way that you guys performed, especially in the second half on Wednesday night, were team selections easy today for today's match?
Relatively easy. We still had a few little issues with Kim had a bit of a hamstring issue, but that seems to be okay at the moment.
Lisa, thanks for your time. We'll catch up with you in the second half. Kim Green, determination, gutsy. What a hamstring problem. Charges through, affects the turnover.
That's a great take, and that's the desperation that both teams will need to play with today. You just see Kim Green setting up really quite wide, and the Australians have busted through the zone defence of the Silver Ferns by doing that. There's always one player wide that they look for.
Manage holding centre.
Green again, a fumble though from Medhurst, and she's had a real shaky start here, Natalie Medhurst. A couple of errors. Langman, oh, well played. Just quick reflexes, quick hands, and they're out to a 3-goal lead again.
That's a bread and butter play for the Silver Ferns. Quick hands into Irene Van Dyke under the post.
Manage break, windy fish.
Toutayer picked that one off. And again, another turnover. Whose ball will this be? No, it's going for the Aussies.
Thought Anna Scarlett was a little bit late then, but it was certainly worth a try on her behalf.
So Medhurst is playing a long way from the post.
You know that Cox will shoot from there. Except for now.
Manage offside
As soon as you said that, Liz, you just set yourself up there. Now Natalie Medhurst, a confidence booster, doesn't drop, gets the second attempt. And another miss.
Silver Ferns throwing. Look, it's a contrast at the moment between both goal attacks on court. Nat Medhurst, none from one and 2 turnovers to her name. Maria Toutayer, 3 from 3. An intercept, a possession gain. She's playing beautifully as Toutayer, and that's the reason why the Silver Ferns, I think, have got this early lead.
Bounce pass into Leota, who's going to loop it over the top, but well done by Corletto, and it's off Van Dyke. It should be an Australian ball, and it is.
Beautiful play there from Julie Corletto. She gives away 10 centimetres to Irene Van Dyke, but she used her feet to get up to the ball and get in the contest and forced a fumble, and then the second phase was the chase. Did it perfectly.
Her closing speed, Liz, can you talk us through that? Is it one of the quickest netballers that you've seen? As we see another fumble here, might have gone through the legs of Medhurst. It was Erin Bell's result.
Yeah, she certainly is, and in all the fitness testing that the Diamonds go through, Julie Corletto is one of the fastest over 5 metres, and that explosive speed, she doesn't need to maintain the speed for long, but it's the last couple of steps that get her to so many balls. It's also her technique. She comes around the body, keeps the umpires out of the game, and in the second phase that I just talked about is the chase, and she does that well as well.
Contact centre.
So another quick start by the Silver Ferns sees them out to a pretty handy lead in the opening stanza. Again, the Aussies starting, looking a little rattled. Unable to treasure possession.
I think defensively the Diamonds are doing really well. They're getting plenty of ball, making plenty of turnovers. They just are coughing it up in attack, and they're not, you know, it's not terribly complicated things when they're coughing up possession. It's the little things that are letting them down.
So quite a bit of whistle in this passage of play, and it's going to result in a free shot for Toutayer. She won't miss from there. She's 4 from 4 in the goal attack position for the Silver Ferns. Up the other end, Natalie Medhurst, none from 1. Let's cross back down to Sherelle. It's got an audio problem there with you, Sherelle. We'll get back to you in a second.
Yeah, great defensive play then for the Diamonds. Laura Langman had nowhere to go. Drew the footwork call. She thinks she's out of play. The Diamonds will take that. That releases Kim Green down the court.
I think we got your mic turned on this time.
Hannah Scarlett. What a beautiful tape. She read it like a book. I don't know that Nat Medhurst could have telegraphed that pass anymore, but I constantly say whenever you go across court against the Silver Ferns, anything cross court and high they will make you pay. Just watch Scarlett here. Comes from nowhere, long arms, too easy.
In the blink of an eye, it is the Silver Ferns out by 5. Sherelle, what do you make of this one now?
Yeah, not surprisingly, the Aussies here have called an injury time. I think Moni may have a legitimate injury. We'll wait and see, but nicely timed there just to halt the run of the New Zealanders, and they have got the ball on a streak in their attack line at the moment. You said that the Aussies are putting the pressure on in defence, but they are being patient. They're working the ball around, and the spaces are opening very nicely for them.
And it looks like that Moni and Gerard might have a legitimate calf concern here. She came into this series having missed the series against England because of a calf injury, and just getting some treatment at the moment, Liz. So some real concerns for Lisa Alexander in the Australian camp at the minute.
You just get the feeling at the moment the Diamonds and the Silver Ferns have both had really long years, but it's the Diamonds that you look at and you think they're being held together by a piece of string. Just a few injury concerns. Laura Geitz came in with an injury concern, Julie Pauletto, Moni Gerard. The shooters told me during the week that the defenders have their own little remedial masterclass at the start of every training session when they do all their injury management. That's caused the shooters no end of happiness because they think now that they're the tougher ones in the side. So the defenders will have to just tough this out, stay on court. Moni Gerard looks like she's okay.
Telling final 4.5 minutes here at Hisense Arena. Once again, the Silver Ferns off to a flyer, and the Aussies are really going to be made to work. Going wide to Cox. Nice little double play. Great understanding with Kim Green. A miss. And Australia has another chance. Natalie Medhurst, none from 1, really needs to get herself involved in this contest.
Oh, Anna Scarlett, really unlucky not to take that then. Thought she had front position. Diamonds lucky to have possession. They must score.
And they do just that. They peg it back to 4. 3.5 minutes left, and Pauletto, beautiful aerial skills. Coming through, Jolene Henry says, anything you can do, Julie, I can do better.
Turnovers are coming for the Diamonds, but you know that they would have looked at the video, they would have seen what's been happening. They know that they can't go do anything cross-court, anything that floats up in the air, yet they've done it a couple of times this quarter and they've paid the price.
So they've doubled their score now, and this is a real danger period here.
Out of court.
Erin Bell out of court. Once again, another turnover. Green got a hand to it and was able to just flick it to Gerard. Really well done. And Liz, this is where they're coughing it up.
It is just through this mid-court area. It's almost like the two transverse lines are like little walls that the Diamonds are struggling to get over. For the last 2 times when they've got down to the circle, it's been the Silver Ferns defenders that have actually come up with possession. I've talked about the Diamonds defensive unit and how well it's operating, but you have to give kudos to the Silver Ferns defensive line. Scarlett and De Bruyn and Jolene Henry doing exceptionally well.
Well, Anna Scarlett, the goal defence for the Silver Ferns, absolutely wearing Natalie Medhurst like a glove at the moment. There she is. She's all arms and legs, and really just a really tough defensive opponent that loves to get in your mind.
She certainly is. Kim Green doing great defensive work then, and Anna Scarlett is one of those players who is so incredibly competitive. You know she's going to go hard. All the way to
Langman keeps it in play. Van Dyke, can she pick it up?
What a brilliant play. We talk about what a brilliant athlete Laura Langman is, but she's smart as well, and she's just shown it.
Well, she made the ball talk on that occasion, kept it in play. Here it is, Laura Langman all over Green, eyes only for the ball, and just cleverly just flicks it back into Van Dyke. The Silver Ferns cannot do anything wrong at the minute, and this lead has just blown out to 6 goals. 1 minute 40 left on the clock. Quarter time cannot come quick enough for Australia. Out by 7, and the Silver Ferns have scored 6 of the last 7 goals. Lisa Alexander has a mighty headache.
The Australians have to score here and just put 1 or 2 on the board before quarter time. Going into a quarter time break, only scoring 5 goals. You go a long way in a test match to see the Diamonds score 5 goals in a quarter.
Well, it's unheard of.
And it's just little things that are letting them down. Footwork, poor choices in pass, poor execution.
Changes need to be made at this first break. Medhurst, none from 1. Cox, 5 from 6.
It's tempting to move Catherine Cox in the goal attack and Caitlin Bassett in the goal shooter,
Well,
just to give the Silver Ferns defensive line something to think about.
They have been dominated here by the defenders.
Offside, wing defence, free pass, Australia.
Final minute.
Inside,
Ferns by 7.
contact, centre, penalty, Australia. On the ball, contact.
Cheers come for Natalie Medhurst to open her account in the final minute of quarter time. She does just that, and that is an understatement to say that was desperately needed. Back to Scarlett. Been sensational in this opening quarter.
Goal defence, contact, advantage, offside, goal attack.
Ball going against Medhurst.
Structured wing defence. Both around.
Plenty going on in the circle. Laura Geitz has just hit the deck.
Well, New Zealand has gone in for the...
Quite a few changes in the attacking line up there for the Diamonds. We see Erin Bell moving from the wing attack position into goal attack with Natalie Medhurst taking a seat on the bench, and Madison Brown in wing attack, and already she's making an impact, cutting her way to the top of the circle there. So I guess trying to get a little bit of movement back in that Australian attacking lineup and trying to find their way into the goal circle.
Thanks, Sherelle. Erin Bell playing just her second test for Australia against New Zealand. Played her first one on Wednesday night in Adelaide. Her mum from Sydney flew down to watch that one, and all of a sudden, big responsibility with the goal attack spin.
It is, but it's a really good move. Erin Bell's one of these cool, calm customers, and as well as knowing when to get involved in play, she's got a great knack for getting out of the way, and she'll let Maddie Brown run that front attacking phase over the transverse line. She'll let Kath Cox have the space in the circle, but she'll be there to back up, and that's an important thing to know.
And Maddie Brown
Wing defence, goal defence, you're out as well.
also into this contest, played against the Silver Ferns for the very first time in Perth last week. So a couple of big weeks for Erin Bell and Maddie Brown. Did really well when she came on at half-time as well, and a lovely bounce pass into Cox. They've got the first 2 and they needed them.
And Maddie Brown will be fired up. This is, her home stadium. She is a Victorian, and she would love to be playing here in front of a home crowd. Of course, her and Julie Corletto, the 2 Victorians on court. Another couple sitting on the bench.
Tutayer, Silver Ferns in possession. Henry back to Tutayer. Van Dyke a long way out from the post.
That's it.
Contact will come back to Tutayer.
You sort of get the feeling that there's a lot more whistle in this game. The umpires are really getting involved. I'd actually like to see them just let the play go a bit more. Both of these teams are so skilled, they can contest. They don't need the whistle. They don't need to be blown for every contest that they're in. They're big and strong.
Yes.
Van Dyke goals. She moves up to 8 from 9 attempts. The Aussies need some energy, Liz, and they need some cool heads.
Well, the energy will come from Maddie Brown. Unfortunately, that's not the sort of play that they need. Australia just need to play their way into this game. In doing that, you've got to do the little things well. Pick the easy option. Have 2 options to pass to. Execute the little things well.
Wing defence. Wing defence, contact.
And that's really how the Silver Ferns have built their lead. Just some desperate defence and doing the little things well in attack.
Langman feeds it into Van Dyke. Little trademark move there from the veteran.
First 5 minutes of this quarter are so important for the Diamonds. The Silver Ferns just look beautifully settled. They don't need to run in a new combination, whereas the Diamonds do in attack.
Manage
They've
offside.
actually scored 13 of the last 19 goals. Oh, Green just putting her body on the line. And that's a heavy knock.
It is. Leanne Leota did well then just to hold her ground. She's so strong.
Desperate stuff from Kim Green. They need some defensive stops.
Offside. dead centre.
She will fight and scrap and wrestle for every possession.
Offside.
So Tutayer, the long bomb specialist.
Contact, wing attack.
Oh, well done, Kim Green. 3 times lucky.
She was on her feet. She was all over that, Liz.
She was. She shows how quick she is and just a physical strength. Got to the ball. Great persistence from Kim
Trap to
Green.
centre, roll turn.
Must convert on these opportunities. Bounce pass, Cox into Brown. Little give to Bell. Turns, spins, pauses, shoots, goals.
Great desperation there from Kim Green.
I need more of that. Erin Bell.
I need less of that. Over the sideline, Silver Ferns possession. We've got to start all over again. Get the hands up, get their hands to the ball.
Quick transition here from the Silver Ferns. Now they go out wide, bring it back into Van Dyke. Doesn't want to shoot from there. Loops it over, just set up anxiously there. Lab Guides almost into the contest.
You just get the feeling with the Silver Ferns that they're just scoring so much more freely. Both teams are, reasonably even in this quarter, but the Diamonds just take so long to get the ball to goal. That will take its toll.
Well, their confidence is up, the visitors. We mentioned they've had some big wins on this court, but there's another turnover. Brown out wide, finding some space. Cox back into Maddie Brown, loops it over. Green
Contact, ball defence.
fires it in.
Beside her. Set it up quickly, goal defence. Yeah.
Erin Bell, 2 from 2.
Well, immediately that change is paying dividends for Lisa Alexander. Erin Bell, just super cool, getting herself playing away into the
Structon, goal defence.
Goal in position.
Pass or shot.
Waitamanu is the New Zealand coach and she joins us from the bench. Waya, your message to the players at the first break?
I felt we needed to be, we were getting pushed to the sideline a lot. I wanted us to centralise our attack a little more and to have a little more confidence on letting the ball go on our through-court plays. I thought we were a bit hesitant and I think the Australians are marking us well in that sense.
Well, you've had a really good start. What do you put that down to?
Chinese contact, wing
We
attack.
worked pretty hard on our warm-ups and the timing of them, so I think those are working well for us at present.
Is there a good feeling within this team knowing that, you've had good results on this court and this is a great chance to create some history and get a series win?
That's certainly what we're aiming for, but we know there's a huge amount of work before that happens.
Well, thanks for your time. We'll catch up with you in the second half. As your star shooter, Irene Van Dyke, drops another goal. Nets one for 11 from 12, and it's still out by 7. So that quarter-time lead was 6, which means the Silver Ferns are winning this quarter by a goal. And Tutayer, when she's shooting like that, is unstoppable.
She is. Now we're entering a really crucial phase of this quarter for the Diamonds. They've made their changes. They've had their first 5 or so minutes to settle in. They've now got to start to eat into this lead. They've got to start to assert some authority on this game before half-time.
We know they can reel off consecutive goals. They did 7 in a row in the last quarter in Adelaide, and this is where they really need to find some more goals. Another fumble.
Contact, goalkeeper passes shot.
They are the comeback queens. Came back from 11 down in Perth a week ago. But when Irene Van Dyke is dominating like this, it's hard to stop. And now this is the biggest lead of the game.
It is hard, and you can't rely on doing that, in every single match just to have these desperate comebacks. Oh, well done, Scarlett.
Contact centre.
Anna Scarlett is reading that ball so well.
Kim Green calls for play to be held up, or we just wipe the sweat from the floor. Anna Scarlett just gets up a little sore there as Natalie Medhurst watches on. Benched at quarter time, 1 from 2. Scarlett has dominated this game. Tutayer ambitious, Kim Green.
She's in everything, isn't she? So desperate. Now, the trick for her is to not have that adrenaline rush when she gets the ball in her hands, just to choose the easy option.
Back to Green. Nice little pass. Splits the defenders.
Oh, I'd like to see that let go.
Gala with the long arms.
She did, but The Australians had the ball under the post.
Keeper, hold it.
Kath Cox drew that penalty then by setting up nice and wide, holding her body strong. A crucial goal there for the Australians, but it was off their centre pass and they had to win the ball back.
It wasn't the long arm of Scarlett, it was the long leg. If one's not going to get you, Liz, the other one will. Back to 7. Silver Ferns with possession.
Oh, big chance here for the Diamonds. Maria Tutayer caught for contact.
Well,
It's Monia Gerard's second turnover of this quarter.
no turnovers in the last game for Monia Gerard in Adelaide.
3 for this game. And just little things like that, just putting too much on the ball. I say this time and time again, she's a senior player within this team. When she has the ball in her hands, she's got to make it safe.
And they need a leader out there, and the obvious one that is leading from the front and say, come on girls, let's get back into this contest is Kim Green. She is running a marathon out there at the minute.
And she's running a marathon, but she's also in plenty of collisions and contacts and getting a hand on the ball. It's a big moment here for the Diamonds. They've got the next centre pass, they must score.
Contact, wing advantage offside.
Defensive pressure, just planting the seed of doubt in the Australians' minds.
It is. Sometimes, though, you have to release the ball even when there's bodies all over you to get the contact call or to get the penalty. If you don't release the ball, the umpire won't see it. So you've got to show the umpire what's happening, and you do that by releasing the ball.
That's back-to-back goals for Australia, which has been rare in this contest so far. They're up to 12 so far for the game. We've got 5 minutes left in the first half.
Well, they've scored as many already in this second quarter as they scored in the first quarter, and that's largely due to the work of Kim Green. She's been so fierce in defence, in attack. She's always backing up, and she's been creating space for Maddie Brown. I really like what Maddie Brown has brought to the contest since she came on. She's been in everything. She's nice and fast, and her release of the ball, she's making good choices in who she delivers the ball to, but the actual pass itself is good as well, and that's what the Australians need in that wing attack position.
As we take a look at some of the statistics, here's Kim Green head-to-head with Laura Langman.
Look, I think Kim Green is probably winning this contest at the moment. Laura Langman hasn't done anything wrong. She's having a really nice game, but Kim Green is the one that's firing up her team. The stat that's not quite in there is the possession gains. Langman has 2, Kim Green has 3. I reckon she's had probably a few more of those, and she's been quite inspirational in the way she's gone about things and the way she's put her head over the ball and not been afraid of the consequences. But look, I think this is a real masterclass from 2 mid-quarters just at the top of their game.
We pulled the result out for just this quarter alone. With 5 minutes remaining, it's 6-all.
Really low-scoring game. Just goes to show how superb both teams are defensively.
Brandon obstructing,
Cross courtside again as the Aussies get back underway with possession here, and Sherelle McMahon.
Yeah, it's a great energy. Obviously down here courtside, you can really feel it lifting from the Aussies. There's still 6 goals in this, but it just feels like they're starting to get the ascendancy here, and the ball's moving really nicely for them in attack.
Well, perfect comments there, because a chance here for Erin Bell to make it 3 in a row for Australia.
Step in, goalkeeper.
She'll have a look at it again. Has done well. 4 from 4. The Aussies peel off 3 in a row, and they're back in the contest. They trail by 5. Big 4 minutes remaining before halftime. Over the top, Vice.
Well, I talked about flags for the Diamonds where they must score. The Silver Ferns will be feeling they need to score here. They've called the timeout. They've had a few goals scored against them.
Contact, goal defence, foot, half the shot.
They'd like to have the initiative back in this game. And they get it. No surprise through Van Dyke. I was just thinking about Erin Bell. She must pinch herself at the moment. 3 years ago, she couldn't get a start for the Swifts, so she moved to Adelaide. Really improved a game there under the coaching of Jane Woodlands-Thompson. Now she's playing goal attack for Australia in one of the greatest arenas of all.
And against the best side of all, and really doing well. Playing just her second test against New Zealand. Lovely bounce pass into Brown, gets it back. 5 from 5, and Bell's dragging them back into it. Quick on the transition here, though, the Silver Ferns. The Australians need to move their feet. get back in defence. Henry will try and set something up. Leota wide to Langman. Plenty of double teaming happening under the post. Into Langman. Popping out on the baseline to Tyer. Too far out to score. But she will back herself in from here and she bombs one away again.
The Tutaye yesterday at 7 from 8. Erin Bell 5 from 5. The Australians are back in this game on the back of a goal attack who's going to the post successfully.
Still a 6-goal handy lead to the visitors. Can they get it back to 5 or under? Kath Cox hasn't seen much of it in this quarter. Starved of possession, making the most of her opportunities. Plenty of voice from the acting captain. Langman on the centre pass. Tutaye. Leota. Forced to go backwards to Scarlett. Probably the best player on court in this opening half. Out wide to Tyer. Geitz just wearing her like a glove. Oh, Corletto stolen. Umpire. Well, Van Dyke looked at the umpire then and basically talked him into blowing his whistle. That's intimidation.
Well,
He thought about
6'4" and
She's taller than him.
Exactly. She's a big girl. Actually, Julie Corletto nearly got away with murder then, just took the ball out of Van Dyke's hands.
Is it clean? No.
It wasn't. But it was really worth a go. You know, Corletto was coming at it hard. Van Dyke went up with one hand. Always worth a go at the contest. Gerard just doing a look-away pass.
Oh, just anxious. Yeah, you need to look away. Hard to watch.
Great defensive work here from the Silver Ferns, yeah. It was the pressure of that mid-court press, trying to force the Australians to go long and high, and that's exactly what they've done.
A little bit of a luck going the Australians' way.
Well, Laura Geitz forced that, got up, had a go at the contest. You don't have to always get your hand on the ball, but you can force a turnover if you're in the contest.
Geitz, ambitious. Leota.
You can see it happening every single time the Diamonds go across court and high. There is a Silver Fern lurking to say thank you for adding to my stat sheet.
Zone defence or one-on-one defence? It's mainly been one-on-one.
They do set up a zone. The Australians are doing a one-on-one style of defence, but the Silver Ferns set up this mid-court zone. It's difficult to get through.
It's
But you can
suffocating.
do it, yeah, you can do it. But I think the problem for the Australians is when they step on, there's no one to throw to. So they've got to keep their feet settled. They've got to use the full 3 seconds.
Oh, they nearly keep that in play, but they're just almost playing a second ahead of themselves.
They are, and again, Kim Green was forced to take that on the stretch. Well done, Erin Bell, forces the turnover. There's 40 seconds for the Diamonds to score and win this quarter.
Bell wins it back. Must score. Trail by 6 at quarter time. Margin is still 6. Over the top. Bell's really going to force to work for it. Eyes only for the ball. 6 from 6 has been stunning.
Beautiful take, Erin Bell. Finished it well after popping a knock across the head. Didn't phase her.
Can the Silver Ferns score? Counting down to half-time. To Tyer to get it back to 6. Oh, and that hurts. That's really deflating for the Australians.
Watch Erin Bell here. Yep, forced a touch out from Scarlett. Not a bad quarter for the Australians. They kept the lead for the Silver Ferns.
At least with those fireworks happening.
That sounds nice, but I'm glad we're here.
So am I. Because even though the Silver Ferns lead by 6, we still well and truly have a game on our hands. Just having a look through the stats at halftime, Liz. New Zealand has led Australia in all 4 meetings of this series. Only twice have they been able to convert that into wins. They led the Aussies by 6 at halftime in the World Championship final. The Aussies won. They led by 6 last week in Perth, and the Super Sub is on.
Well, I said it on Wednesday night that no lead is enough with these 2 teams. You never feel safe. And especially now they've got someone like Caitlin Bassett on. Just her height and reach and the fact that she's been playing so well as a super sub for us, the Diamonds, means that they may very well be able to come back. What they need to do is score a lot of goals quickly.
Sherrill's all over these changes. Sherrill, Kath Cox to the bench for this second half.
Yes, Kath Cox on the bench, and as you mentioned, Caitlin Bassett coming on at the half-time. It's almost becoming a specialty. The New Zealanders have just made one change as well in the wing defence position, with Kayla Cullen coming on and Henry going to the bench. This, for me, is the interesting time. New Zealand, not just the Aussies fighting back, but New Zealand not being able to hold on to these leads. So let's see if they've learnt anything from those couple of games.
Thanks, Sherelle. Kayla Cullen, the teenage star for the Silver Ferns. She's the equivalent of the Bassett. She's a super sub for them.
But she tends to just be brought on for one quarter, which allows Jolene Henry to sit out and watch the game, and then she's almost a super sub. She's such a fierce competitor. She comes back into the game really hard. Much easier progress to goal them from the Diamonds. Big miss, though, for Bassett. They've got to make the most of those opportunities. They're so hard to come by.
Shaky start for the West Australians. So cool when she came on in front of her home crowd last Sunday. And there's the turnover. And away is Brown, charging down the court. She's got no one with support.
Contact goalkeeper.
The umpire took his time telling us what he'd blown his whistle for then. The whole stadium was on tenterhooks. Caitlin Bassett doing the job. Hits one back.
Contact goalkeeper.
Julie Corletto just a little bit late then, but again, you've got to be in that contest.
Cullen. Two-tie into Van Dyke.
So strong. She actually took that ball out near the edge of the circle, but she has a really wide land. She gets her feet really wide and got it almost all the way to the post.
27 from 29 at 93% in the test in Perth that they won. She's up to 16 already. But Bassett's starting to find her feet. Oh, well done by Green. So much body contact. In the pocket, Langman, lead from Tutayer, right over the top of the hands of Geitz, and the call was late there from Laura Geitz.
It was. She just got her sneaky hand onto Maria Tutayer's arm. Tutayer couldn't finish the follow through. It's why the ball dropped short. Sometimes you get away with those, and sometimes the umpire sees them.
So still a margin hovers at 7. Green trying to feed the little give and go. I think that target might have been Brown, but Bell snatched it in the end and it just rolls out.
Such a young line on for Australia at the moment. I'm looking around thinking who the on-court leader will be. It's probably Monia Gerard or Julie Corletto. Well, Julie Corletto is the vice captain of the team, so it's those two players who we talked about pre-match who really need to step up now. Not only create the turnovers, but bring the ball down court safely.
Corletto, the vice captain, but still so young. I think a birthday tomorrow, Liz. 25 tomorrow. She'll be celebrating in style. Tutayer a miss, that's what they need. Corletto keeps it in play, now it's a loose ball. Gerard gets there, flicks it over the top to Corletto. Pure strength, and now they're away. And listen to the crowd get involved. The umpire calls a contact, it comes back.
Well, that's the desperation and chase that the Diamonds need. That will lift them.
Over the top to Bassett. It was risky. Bassett gets a hand in, she stills it. Trying to get it over the top to Bassett. De Bruyne's working her overtime. She's been double-teamed here, the West Australian, and as a result, they cough up possession and the New Zealanders are away. This could really hurt Australia. Loops it over the top, Van Dyke.
Beautiful take, Van Dyke. Geitz could very well have thought the ball might have been going out of court. Not too many go over Van Dyke's head. That was a real opportunity missed then for Australia.
Yeah, let's write that down, Liz. 10-minute mark of the third quarter. A chance to pick it back to 4. Was stolen out to 6, but Bassett again. And now it's 5.
Great delivery there from Erin Bell. She's playing the game of her life.
They're clinging on, the Australians.
Contact goalkeeper.
As Tutayer rolls another one in, and one person who wouldn't like the sight of that is the Australian coach, Lisa Alexander. Lisa, your message to the players at the main break?
Well, we've got youth on our side and we've got pace. And if we start to use that, we'll get ahead.
Lisa, are you starting to think of Caitlin Bassett as a real super sub for your team?
Not just that, I think she is young, there's no doubt about that, and very soon she'll be starting games as well. Kath is our captain and is very strong. Had a good first quarter, I thought. Just was a little bit quiet in the second quarter. We needed something else.
Lisa, you've got 5 goals to make up. How are you going to do it?
2 turnovers.
Very good. You're very good at maths, Lisa. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Looks like it's going to be another epic that'll go down to the wire as the Australians look to get involved again.
Contact, Goldie, Ferns penalty.
Youth and pace. She's confident.
Why wouldn't you be? This is a team that has shown it can fight back from just about any deficit. You know, and when you have youth on your side, you're not scared. You know, these girls aren't scared of what can happen.
Leota.
Brown is obstructing centre.
Nowhere to go, and that's a held ball. Put that down to Kim Green.
Now, this is another huge turnover. When you get turnovers like this, you've got to score. It does two things. It lifts your side and it takes the air out of the opposition's tyres.
Brown in the pocket. Bell. Risky.
Contact, outside.
Do you take risks at this point in time if you're Australia?
You have to. You've got 5 goals to make up. But you take calculated risks. You know, you take a risk where, you know, if it doesn't come off, what's our plan B? What's our next option? That's a huge play for Australia.
Mentally, it's a huge play because they're back within 4 and they haven't been this close since the opening minute or two of the game.
Anna Scarlett shaking her head. I think she's well within her rights to do so, but Maddie Brown will take that. It looked like she'd fumbled it over the sideline under tremendous pressure from Scarlett. Well, the Anna Brain's is giving away some penalties at the moment when she's contesting from behind. We know that she's got great elevation. She's nice and tall. She just needs to move her feet, get around to the side at least.
Not sure whether Bassett was trying to shoot or pass then, but she does the team thing, and this will bring the crowd alive because they're back within 3.
Yeah, it looked like Maddie Brown was the player that helped the ball over the line. You know, and sometimes when you're coming back from a deficit like the Diamonds are doing, if you are up and about and your body language is good, the cause will go with you. Momentum is an amazing thing in sport. At the moment, the Diamonds have it just starting to shift their way.
Sherelle, the Aussies with 3 in a row. It's game on.
It's game on, absolutely, and I'm loving watching Erin Bell and how she's working her way into this game in the goal attack position. Haven't seen much of her with Caitlin Bassett, so it's great to see that combination happening, and they're just finding some really nice spaces around that circle.
Bassett and Bell, it's a good point, Liz, that Sherelle makes. Well, they've played together before as a combination, and it really is a glimpse into the future.
It is. They wouldn't have played, well, they haven't played at test match level in this combination, but they would have done it a lot of times in practice matches and at selection camps. And, you know, the competition to get into this Diamonds team is so strong that if you can perform at selection camps, you can perform in a test match. So, you know, they would have trained together a lot. They know each other's game. And Erin Bell is such a cool customer, and Caitlin Bassett is too. So neither of them seem to be players who are fazed by the occasion. It was interesting to read some remarks from Caitlin Bassett before this test series began that coming out at half-time in that World Championship final means that for her, when she comes on in test matches now, she feels like she's done well before. It's not a big deal. That's what the Diamonds need.
I sense Serena is rocking. Green and gold with possession. Gerard, Coletto, Bell.
Contact. Yeah, contact.
Course just starting to go Australia's way as well. Ambitious pass at the top of the circle, flirting with a bit of danger. Bassett goals, and this game has well and truly exploded into life.
Better play then from the Diamonds. Erin Bell just doing the right thing and driving across the front, splitting the Silver Ferns defenders. When she does that, that opens up Bassett.
4 in a row, they've got the momentum. Can they produce a turnover?
Oh, they do, guys. She put her foot out. Oh, what a brilliant intercept, and it was momentum that took her over the sideline. She read it superbly.
And she's on her toes, playing in front of Van Dijk, the taller player. Now caught out of position. They go the high ball to Tayer, cleans up. And they miss from Tayer, the sharpshooter. So the Aussies are really on top here.
Laura Geitz owned that turnover. Another turnover from Monia Gerard. She's got to look for the easy option, flat pass.
Just a rush of blood.
Was a rush of blood. Laura Geitz worked so hard for that turnover. Just watch Geitz, right foot over the sideline. She knew she'd done it too. I think there's some dispute about whose centre pass it is. The umpire just checking. It is, in fact, the Diamond centre pass. Nice try, Laura Langman.
So the players out there, the Australian players, really feeding off the electricity that's been provided by the home fans.
Again, that cross-court pass. De Bruyne read it beautifully.
Cullen starts this passage to Tyer. Van Dijk won't shoot from there. Long arms by Geitz, putting her under pressure. Slicing to the top of the circle was Tutayer. And that last miss from Maria Tutayer just making her a little hesitant, instead giving it off, and that is a settler for New Zealand. A much needed goal produced by Van Dijk, the veteran.
Take it quickly. Centre contact, centre third. Advantage offside wing attack.
On the baseline, Tutayer again looking to give it off.
Contact keeper.
Getting really physical now under the post. So much at stake.
On the ball, both are out.
Well, plenty of push and shove between Geitz and Van Dijk. Van Dijk didn't like it, but I'd argue that she's starting it. She really sets up with that real push and shove. So Geitz is well within her rights to try and stand strong. Massive play here. The penalty's been advanced. I think it was the only Leota that had the ball and wouldn't release it. You know, Australia has to make the most of these opportunities when they get them. That's it.
With 9 from 10, she's come in at half-time and she's scored 9 goals in this third quarter.
Barely broken a sweat.
Can't keep it in play, they're throwing it away, overwhelmed by the pressure. Such a game of little momentum shifts. The Aussie peeled off about 5 in a row. New Zealand hit that with 3 in a row.
It is, and when you're chasing a deficit like 5 or 6 goals, you've got to understand that you're only going to get them back in little increments of 1 or 2. You rarely get to, pull it back 6 or 7 at a time. That's hard to understand for a young team, but I reckon the Australians know that now after that game in Perth. They've just got to stay calm, make the most of the little runs that they get.
Oh, sandwiched in between 2 Silver Ferns there was Bell. Stood her ground.
Advantage obstruction.
And Erin Bell is going to back herself in from here. That's a team lifter. That's just what the doctor ordered.
Erin Bell takes the ball under intense physical pressure, turns and shoots the long bomb. 9 from 9. What a game.
Playing out of her skin.
Advantage obstruction wing attack.
Geitz again. As a defender, Liz, you must be loving watching Laura Geitz in a minute.
Gives me goosebumps. She's just, really doing everything that she has to. She's contesting for everything. Getting out and having a go at those long balls, putting some doubt in the midcourters' minds.
Over the top to Bassett from Bell. Crowd's getting its money's worth. Guess what? We're back to 1.
Australian centre pass. Massive moment in this game. The Diamonds can't afford to close up here. They close the gap by some really free-flowing play.
Look at Erin Bell with her confidence up. She didn't even look to give that one off. But it's backed up and scores are level at Hisense Arena. Are we headed for extra time? The world #1 ranking is on the line, and Van Dijk has shot goal. And the call's gone against Van Dijk, and she can't believe it. The right call is.
I need to maybe just take it easy.
Yeah.
But I would argue that was the right call. Van Dijk and Geitz have been giving it to each other, and Geitz has copped a few penalties, and one probably had to go her way at some stage. But at a crucial moment like that,
You might need to take it easy, but I think give yourself an hour or so, because we're into a frantic final finish here. Australia pressing, looking to hit the front for the very first time in this match.
Advantage obstruction.
Rolling it through, just Green and Bell, former teammates at the New South Wales Swifts. Here's Erin Bell to put the Aussies in front.
the first time in this match that the Diamonds have hit the lead. I'll argue for Leanna de Bruin on that one. I thought she contested well. Penalties are coming against the defenders down this end of the court, so the Kiwis just need to wear it for 40 seconds. They'll get the benefit of it in the next quarter.
Erin Bell just offline, and you could see with the shot,
Australia throw in.
didn't roll off the fingers. Still with possession. Time is with them.
Instruction, wing defence.
15 seconds is an enormous amount of time. The Australians don't need to push it.
To give them a 2-goal lead, heading into the last break. They're going to turn with their noses in front.
Just want to show you this replay. It was a good call from the umpire. Van Dyke just used a hit, but Goetz got the call by moving her feet around to show where they keep saying, Kel, no lead in these games is ever enough. The Silver Ferns won their close one in Perth because they kept their composure.
15 minutes of international netball left in 2011. Will it be the Diamonds or the Silver Ferns that finish the year on top as the world's best team?
Fucking wing attack.
So difficult to split them. Silver Ferns took the Com Games last year. The Aussies hit back with the world champs. Who will finish number one?
Manage offside, wing
Silver
defence.
Ferns pushing ahead.
Contact, keep past the shot.
So this is the danger area for the Diamonds, and where the Silver Ferns can really look to claw back the lead. They will be the beneficiary of the penalties down this end of the court. The Diamonds will draw the whistle. The Silver Ferns must make the most of that.
They've got possession as well, so a chance to bring it back to level pegging.
Manage wing defence, instruction. Contact, goal attack. Contact, goal attack.
Well, another interesting call there. It was a contact against Tutayer.
A big play there from Julie Corletto. There has been a change at three-quarter time, and
Sherrill's all over it. Let's
I
get
think
to it.
Sherrill's all over it.
I am. There's just the one change. Why would the Aussies make any changes after that fantastic third quarter? Just the wing defence position again. Jolene Henry coming back there with Kayla Cullen retaking her seat on the bench.
Thanks, Sherrill. Good luck watching this final term. I'm sure you'd love to be out there at the minute.
Well, good call there from Waitamanu to bring Jolene Henry back into the game. I think she's a match winner, and we saw her in Perth when the game was tight. She took some really crucial intercepts, so she'll be looking, sniffing around up near the transverse line to do the same thing and lift her team.
So the Aussies with a 2-goal buffer, this to make it 3. Bell, perfect placement. The high ball, Bassett goals, they lead by 3.
This is a game of inches. The ball then had to be perfect. De Bruin was in just superb position to contest. The ball skimmed her fingertips and found Bassett.
Skirting the perimeter around the edge of the circle and now into Tutayer. Cool customer. 12 from 16.
Rounded break, wing defence.
Hasn't quite had the impact that we've seen in the past couple of tests though, Liz.
No, I thought she started well in this game. She was really owning that transverse line in the shooting circle, and Irene Van Dyke was sort of playing back up to her.
Oh, Brown, can she pull it off? She was off balance and she doesn't.
But Julie Corletto's just started to, creep up in her space and just starting to quieten her down. Tutayer needs to fire, but the Silver Ferns are going to come out winners in this match.
Well, she is a match winner, we know that. She's proved that before. Rewind to Delhi 12 months ago, the winning goal.
And it's not just her shooting, it's that sort of play. It's a drive across the circle.
Oh,
She
but a
must
miss.
finish.
Corletto with the rebound. Guides, can she stay in play just? Back to Corletto. Happy to hold it up. Oh, but they've thrown it away. A moment of madness from Laura Guides.
Well, the Diamonds' defensive line have clawed back so much ball, but they've turned over so much ball. Corletto and Geitz, 2 turnovers apiece. Gerard, 4.
Langman, Leota, all by herself in the pocket. Little give to Tutayer, who doesn't want to shoot over Corletto.
That's the sort of
Offside.
position that we'd normally see Maria Tutaye shoot from. She generally looks so comfortable
And
there.
again, doesn't want to do it, so planting the seed of doubt, and as a result, the Aussies are all over it. Running in waves now, down the court. Brown needs some support. Goes back to Gerard. Brown, they team up, a little give and go.
It's a fine line for the Australians. They need that fast transition to get through that mid-court before the Silver Ferns set up the zone.
Oh, Bassett really has to work for it. De Bruyne fumbles.
De Bruyne's so close. She did everything right except catch it.
Well, you said it's a game of inches. It's proving to be, isn't it? Bell, oh, Bassett again forced to work with it. Scarlett, too good.
Yeah, just that desperation.
Gobbled it up. Both sides really just trying to treasure possession, aren't they? They don't want to have a rush of blood and give it away. Tutaye. The defensive pressure up on their toes. Plenty of arms up in the air by the Aussies.
Well, I think New Zealand have done a really clever thing. They're a more mature team and a bit older, and they've just taken the sting out of the game by slowing the pace down.
And that will frustrate Australia because they don't like to be robbed of their rhythm, in a sense.
No, they don't. And we heard Lisa Alexander say that the Australians have youth and pace on their side. But if the Silver Ferns continue to play smart and take that pace out of the game, then the youth suddenly becomes a liability rather than an asset.
Goal defence. Contact. That's a shot.
New Zealand hanging around. Scores a level. And Wai Tamanu is watching on, and it's another thriller. Why? How you feeling?
Yeah, fine. This is what they're like. That's what you have to get used to.
You do. Why, looking across your team, would you say that Maria Tutaye is the player who you need to really step up and own this quarter?
I think we've got to try and give her the best feeding that we can, and I don't think we've done that so far.
Has your team deliberately gone out just trying to slow the match down? That's how it feels, and it feels like that's how they've got control of the game back.
We're certainly trying to retain control, Liz. We didn't talk about the rate of the pace.
Thanks for your time, Wai, and enjoy the last 8 minutes or so of this epic encounter. The Silver Ferns with 4 of the last 5. All by herself, under the post, Bassett. Drew De Bruyne to the ball, then moved away, and then the little give and the feed to Bell, and they convert. Diamonds by 1.
Diamond shooting 100% in this quarter. They've got to make the most every time they get the ball down. Erin Bell did really well then. Just use the balk to draw De Bruyne.
Well, that was a rare error off the hands of Laura Langman, the acting captain. All over Corletto was Tutaye. I would have thought she was playing for the All Blacks then. Set up for an anxious moment. They maintain possession. Bell. Double teamed is Bassett. Look at them double teaming her under the post. Bell again, a long way out.
Yeah, this is where Bell needs to just take control and take the initiative just like she did then and drive across the top of the circle. She only needs to look down the other end of the court and see Maria Tutaye doing the same thing. When you've got a tall shooter like that who's been double teamed, the goal attack has to get to the front position.
Playing the game of her life, Erin Bell. That was lucky number 13 for her. Moved into the goal attack position at quarter time. Natalie Medhurst benched. Green, well played by Bassett. Gives it back to Brown. De Bruyne just bumping and crunching Bassett. As a result, they need to give it to Bell. Oh, and the miss and the defensive rebound by Scarlett.
A good defensive work there from De Bruyne. Just cut the baseline off for Bassett. And well backed up by Scarlett. Oh, who hits the deck. If she gets a penalty, though, that'll make her feel a little better.
Time. Have we got a shot? Yeah.
And it just clipped by Erin Bell in the chase.
Highlights the type of netball she's played this afternoon. It's dive for the netball type stuff, isn't it?
Well, Anna Scarlett's always going to give you that. She's been one of the best for the Silver Ferns. Interestingly, we thought the Silver Ferns defensive line would be weakened by the loss of Casey Williams, and it is, but I reckon De Bruyne and Scarlett have just had really great series. They're proving that, Casey Williams, we can both do really well.
Holding, centre.
I think they've been a rock for this team.
They have had some final quarter meltdowns, though, that have been a concern, led by 11 and led by 5 in Adelaide. lost on Wednesday night, so they would be aware of that in the back of their mind, but they are still hanging in there.
They'd also have enormous amount of confidence knowing that in Perth they actually held on. Even when the Australians hit the lead, they were the ones that ended up with possession and the game.
And the superstar veteran levels it up yet again.
Well, she's shooting 23 from 25. She's had a torrid encounter this afternoon with Laura Geitz, and yet she's still getting possession and still slotting the goals.
What an arm wrestle we are seeing unfold here. It is riveting, pulsating netball at its very, very best.
Just look at this mid-court press from the Kiwis, forcing the Australians to go back. It's good that they're patient, but the Diamonds do need someone just to drive through the middle, just to take the interest of Langman and Henry.
Well, risky. Scarlett read it. She gobbled that up. The brains down behind play.
Well, Henry and Langman set that up, and Scarlett read it just so beautifully. She's so good at that.
It's getting so physical out there. There's elbows and arms flying around everywhere. Tutoyer, one out with Coletto under the post. They don't want to go to her now. She slices her way, gives it over the top to Van Dyke. It was the long lead to the top of the circle. And once again, she nips one.
Laura Geitz now the most penalised player on the court, 14.
Natalie Medhurst, the star goal attack for the Australian side, watching on anxiously. What a win this would be for Australia if they were to do it with Medhurst on the bench for 3 quarters. Geitz, not quite. Final 5 minutes. It's hard in your mouth stuff. Edge of your seat stuff. Hisense Arena, 9,600 in. Forced to work for every possession. Green. Big call. Massive call.
Oh, Kim Green just created that turnover out of nothing.
They have to fight and work for every possession.
Well, Laura Langman was chasing just as hard. It was Kim Green that just got to the ball by an inch.
Gerard, ambitious, risky, comes off. Bassett rolls out, offensive rebound, scores a level again. Here it is, Liz. Green got her hands to it. It came off Langman. Oh, that was so controversial.
So controversial. I think she may have just flicked it back, but Laura Langman well within her right to argue the toss on that one.
High drama at Hisense Arena. It's anyone's ball game. Bassett nets it. Up by 1. Tense teammates watch on. Langman, who does she go to? She gives it to Tutoyer. Oh, and that's a big call. It was well under the post.
That's a huge call, but Aaron Van Dyke will take it for the one that happened earlier. There's plenty of push and shove between Van Dyke and Geitz, and they're coming out pretty even in the calls.
It's all about decision making. The final 3 minutes, scores a level. Are we going to extra time? Don't tell me double extra time. Brown. Bell. It's coming back to Erin Bell. What a moment. What a cool head on the youngster.
Such a fiercely contested game, 41 to 40. Really low scoring, and that's just a result of how hard both teams have played it defensively all the way down the court. Oh,
Hit off by Coletto, and now the Aussies are away. They lead by 1. Fighting in there and scrapping hard was Van Dyke. Green holds it up. They want to hold it up. They're too far out though, Liz. They can't hold it for 2 minutes.
Yeah, they've got to play a funny little game here. They've got to continue to push, but do so without taking a risk. I said earlier they needed to take risks to get back into the game. They're there now, cannot afford risky play.
It was an offside call against Henry, so comes into Bell. Oh, anxious. Bassett. Has to work so hard, such strength. And Caitlin Bassett gives the Aussies just a little bit of breathing space. 2 goals. Australia with possession all by herself under the post. Caitlin Bassett, don't tell me the match winner again. There's still time, Liz. There's still time.
I'm still nervous. The Silver Ferns must score off this play, and they must score quickly.
Who will be the hero? Van Dyke scores quickly.
The Diamonds taking their time to get back. They've got to keep possession here.
They can't throw it away. Hustling. New Zealand up hard. Van Dyke slaps at it.
Yeah, the Silver Ferns, on the other hand, will contest everything. They have to. Can't afford to give away penalties. They've just got to get their hands on the ball. Dangerous play here by the Australians. Throwing the ball around in the New Zealand scoring zone.
Brown. Look at the defensive pressure put on here. Time is on their side. Ticking down. Need to score. Bassett just turns, spins, shoots. She's slicing them to pieces in the final moments here. She loves a close game. Look at the smile. It says it all. Final 10 seconds. The Aussies up by 3, and they